My name is Yvonne Elmendorff from Consejo Counseling, and I'm going to go to Lane.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lane Crumpos. Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold, so I sound a little goofy right now. I am the Behavioral Health Navigator with Puget Sound ESD, so we oversee all of our King and Pierce County school districts and help them as far as accessing services within the community for behavioral health. But most of you know me from my prior work with juvenile rehabilitation within Pierce County and also with WISE wraparound services. So I'm very well connected to the community and so much appreciation for you all that are here in this group. Self-care, oh gosh, for me, one thing I do is my meditation and my prayer, keeping that in my routine every morning and every night, and just making sure that that's something that I'm doing routinely and not out of like that hazard place. So that's my self-care.
Thank you, Lane. Next is Daisy. Oh, you're on mute, Daisy.
Yep. My name is Daisy Abreu. I work with Consejo Counseling and with Yvonne here in the Tacoma office. I have been a therapist for some time now, and over the years, I've learned to just do a few tricks for self-care. And one of the things that I do practice a lot, I do practice yoga and meditation, as well as I do a lot of drawing and painting and picking up some crochet. So just to keep it varied, and a lot of reading, writing, journaling, anything I can get my hands on.
And Daisy's an awesome sketcher. She didn't talk about it, but she sketches amazing little sketches of nature and things like that. Ty?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chai Loy. I've been a probation officer with Pierce County Juvenile Court for almost 15 years. Majority of my caseload is the city of Tacoma youth. And I've been involved in MID with Yvonne for the last 4 or 5 years, but kind of like stay away. Missed a lot of meetings the last year. Self-care. I used to, been doing Taekwondo at Springer the last 20 years. Not because of the pandemic, there's only a few students they allow, so I was kind of pull myself out and continue, but my 2 sons still going. But at the same time, just use my home garage as my gym, so that way I can at least do something 3 days a week. So that's at least 30 to an hour a day, or 3 days a week. So thank you.
Thank you, Chai. Will?
How you doing? My name is Will House. I'm Vice President of Community Engagement for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And so how do I self-care? That was a good question. You had me really like thinking about that one. Like, what do I do to take care of myself? I think what I enjoy most is just spending time with family. And not just spending time, but spending like valuable time where you actually kind of create memories. So just traveling, even just breaking away from just like Tacoma and maybe going up to Seattle and trying out a new restaurant. And just being able to share new things and new experiences with the people that are close to me is how I self-care.
Thank you, Will. Kimberly?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly Bjorn from Elevate Health. We're the Accountable Community of Health for Pierce County. So I like joining this meeting because I always learn something, and I always want to try to be a resource for every group. And it's nice to see Daisy. I remember meeting you before, Daisy. Self-care, I just did it. I've had back-to-back meetings today, and I actually started this meeting on the phone because I was like, I need to walk away from my computer. And I have a beautiful yard. I live out on the Key Peninsula. We have an acre, and we have done a ton of gardening this year early because we've been home, and I just walked around my yard and just was grounding myself and just getting away from the computer. And that's probably the most simplest and most important piece of self-care I do every day, especially on days where I am back-to-back meetings. So I encourage everyone to get outside. Nature is a very healing place.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
We have new people that have entered the room since I first said what we're doing right now. So I'll just take you up to speed. And I did not share my own self-care, which I'm asking everyone else to do. So I'm sorry about that. But for anybody who has entered the room, we're just announcing who we are, what organization or what we're doing in the community. And then because we're going to be talking about our own mental health wellness as providers and those who support the community, today we're just saying what we like to do for self-care. And something I like to do for self-care is I like to cook. I like to cook for my family, take care of my family, which doesn't really sound that much of like self-care for myself because I'm caring for others, but cooking and just getting out. I like to get out and go try new restaurants too, like get out of town, go for like the drive somewhere else. We drive to California a lot and we'll just be like, hey, we're going to go this weekend, and just 10-hour drive is like nothing for me. So I like doing stuff like that. And I'm just going by the boxes. So I have Threat, who's the next box.
Hello, everybody doing? Apologies for being a few minutes late, but I'm the director of the Young Businessmen of Washington organization based out of the Hilltop area, but we extend our arms throughout the Pierce County area for services and resources to young men and young women. So one of the things that I do for, just being self-health is staying alive. Every day I do my best to do that, and I'm in the process right now of painting the building, and we've just been a lot of the building. And so we call the Lab Center, the Learn About Business Center, to where we helping young people develop entrepreneurship skills and teach them work readiness and completion of high school critical education. So me being here in this space and building or nailing or painting or sweeping or being dirty, I want to be clean more, but I'm in here to be dirty and do what I got to do. So, that's one thing that helps me a lot. But outside of that, just drinking water and working out. I strength and condition a lot. So I don't do weight training. So I keep it as natural as possible. So I don't really have no excuses on why I can't do it. And I like to promote that to other people as well. So, that's what I do. And I appreciate y'all for asking.
Thank you. Next, I have John.
Hello, everybody. This is John Levi. I'm with Elevate Health. I'm the Community Engagement and Equity Manager. What I like to do for self-help is remember to breathe. I often feel like I don't take enough deep breaths and kind of feel myself getting shallow breaths. And when I notice that, then I know it's like time to just take some deep breaths, literally like to the diaphragm and just relax. It helps to clear my head. It helps to, if I get headaches and stuff, it really helps to just decompress. So I just breathe.
Thank you. Thank you. That's always important.
Yeah.
Who do I have next? Audrina.
Hi, so I'm Audrina. I work at Consejo Counseling. I'm the peer recovery coach here. And for self-care, something I'm learning to do is being comfortable sitting with discomfort. And so just allowing myself the time and capacity to process discomfort and feelings around that, and getting in nature. Somebody said water. I try to think of myself as a plant since I take really good care of my plants. So watering myself, making sure I'm having the nutrition that I need. And yeah, just taking time I do a lot of like cleansing rituals at home where I'll like sage myself after work, since I am in contact with the community, and I have a lot of past trauma, and so sometimes I can carry a lot of secondary trauma that doesn't belong to me. So I do go home a lot, and I just kind of sage and do little cleansing rituals so that I'm well enough to start a new day the next day. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrina. And that's a perfect segue into Daisy's presentation. So we're just finished the next couple. I have T.
Hey, so my name is T, and I'm the legal assistant with the Pierce County Team Child Office. I would say that I really firmly believe that rest is a form of resistance. And so I think I try to rest as much as I can. I also have been hiking this year. And so that's been really great to kind of get outside, and I like to go by bodies of water. So I'll drive like an hour or two somewhere just to get to a waterfall or a lake or something. And I don't know, there's something about the water that just like really attracts me, and it's really soothing to me to hear that. So that's what I like to do for self-care, is naps and hikes. hikes.
Okay, thank you. Sarah?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah. I am the Sex Trafficking and Exploitation Program Coordinator at the Sexual Assault Center for Pierce County. It's been a rough morning, so it's helpful to hear all of the things y'all are doing. I think the biggest thing I've been doing recently is just putting away all of my stuff at the end of the day for work, and just trying to rest and not think about it till the next day. So.
Thank you, Sarah. Joanne.
Hi, my name is Joanne. I'm with Safe Streets with the Youth Program Manager for Youth Leading Change after school program for middle and high school students in Pierce County. And self-care, I guess, would just be just listening to music.
Thank you, Joanne. That's a good one too. So is there anybody that I haven't let introduce themselves? I don't think so, but speak up if I don't see you or if I overlooked you. So today, Marlon is not able to be with us. Speaking of self-care, he's doing a training for self-care for himself. So he's doing that. And we're going to be letting Dr. Daisy talk to us about actually some of the things we just talked about, vicarious trauma, how, taking care of ourselves as providers and community support members, being able to take care of ourselves so that we can continue to provide healthy leadership and healthy information and support to those in need in the community. And so I'm going to let Daisy do her presentation. And then if we have any questions, we're not going to be consulting cases today, but I will let you guys know for the future, we do have new funded providers. I have not got to meet them yet, but they will be joining our meeting, and we will probably be having 2 meetings a month for the rest of the year. So I will send out emails and update everybody. There will probably be a meeting where we do case consultations and really talk about what's going on with the participants we're working with and getting them access to the support resources that they need. And we will be doing maybe a second meeting where we talk about how we can support each other as providers and how we can talk about getting more stability to those who need us in the community, how we can help advocate for more housing and more of those crisis resources that our clients and participants we're trying to work with really need access to right now. So Daisy, go ahead. Do you need access to share anything?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, or do I need to?
Let me see.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so everyone can see my slides. Yep, perfect. Okay, so thank you, Yvonne, for inviting me to speak to the group today. I said a little bit about myself. My name is Daisy Abreu. I have been a therapist for around 22 years. And a lot of the things that I do, in addition to working with clients, I manage the mental health program here in the Tacoma office and do a lot of clinical supervision over the years with new therapists entering the field. And one of the things that I have always included in my staff meetings and in my conversations with everybody is about self-care, because the work that we do is pretty intense, and we are in touch with a lot of pain, suffering, a lot of traumatic experiences. We hear a lot of things, and it is important for each one of us to develop ways to take care of ourselves and to be conscious about taking care of ourselves. One of the things that I also tell therapists and other professionals is that either burnout or compassion fatigue, vicarious traumatization, all of these things kind of come to visit us in a way that we don't even realize it. They don't tend to knock the door and say, hey, I'm here. You're tired, you need a break, or you need to take care of yourself. We don't even realize that we're not feeling at capacity until sometimes we're really, really feeling down and not able to perform, or making wrong decisions, or being irritable, and so on. So as I was developing this presentation, I came across with a lot of definitions and a lot of symptoms that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I'm going to be talking about both burnout and compassion fatigue, which are two different things, although sometimes we kind of talk about it as it was the same, but they are different things that happen to us. So with no further ado, I'm just going to start. Just providing you a little bit of information on each one of them. Okay, so compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is also referred as vicarious trauma. And it was originally named by this individual named last name Figley in the 1982. So it's been around for a while. And one of the terms that he used for vicarious trauma, or now in the modern day compassion fatigue, is the cost of caring, which I believe is very very on point. It's that we are working in this area, in this line of work, because we care. Because we care about the community, we care about the people that we're serving. And but that caring also has a cost. And if we are not self-aware about what's taking our temperature on a daily basis, then that cost can be very expensive. And we don't want that. So that way we can spend as much as we can supporting others and helping others. And this cost of caring is this phenomenon. It's a human experience that it is in relation to trauma, to the ongoing work that we do, in which we are actually witnessing the pain and suffering and the terrifying experiences that other individuals have. Because when we are engaging in care, we are there, we're present, we are connecting. And that's when this phenomena takes place. With the compassion fatigue, there we go. These are some of the signs and symptoms that you can experience or see other people experience, and you can recognize them. You can see that the individual has a state of tension. It's a constant preoccupation about the stories that they are hearing day to day. About their clients or their families that they're working with. There's avoidance as well. It's this persistent state of arousal, like this startle jumpy, this jumpiness. And sometimes difficulty sharing and talking about their own emotions, just like this withdrawal from what they're feeling. Also, there is a diminished joy, like people stop enjoying the things that they do on a daily basis. They used to run and they used to love it, and then suddenly it's been quite a few weeks and nothing's going on or more, and no exercise at all, no walks in the garden, no planting anymore. There's this feeling also of feeling trapped by the work that they do, and just feeling hopeless. And this is just a few of symptoms that you can observe when it comes to compassion fatigue. We can split this in different behaviors as well within the workplace. You can see irritability, people jumping. They get upset for no reason. Absenteeism, tardiness. They're not as responsible with the work as they used to be. Exhausted, and you can tell when you see them. It's just like the life and the brightness is no longer there. Sometimes irresponsibility. Report has to go in, it's not done. Notes have to go in, they're not done. Also, we can see overwork. Individuals are exhausted. Avoid being alone as well, because they're thinking, they're preoccupied, they're just concerned. Sometimes talking to themselves. Well, we all talk to ourselves in some way, but it has its limits. And just rejecting that emotional closeness with other people. Like you had a very good body at work, and you used to go to lunch all the time. Then all of a sudden you just don't want to talk to the person anymore. You just don't want to be talked at all. You don't want anybody knocking on your door. You just want to be alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss cases. I don't want to talk about anything, because you are experiencing emotional pain. When it comes to interpersonal relationships within the workplace, also you have this withdrawal and isolation from others, blaming others. Something is wrong or it's somebody else's fault. You start conflict. It can be a storm just being brewed. You develop poor communication skills, and your relationships continue to go down, become very impatient. You just have these conflicts. You're no longer part of a team, because you kind of become a little bit of an island of your own, and you're no longer cooperating or participating. You're just there. And that's where you can notice those changes on yourself, but you can also see it in other people, in your coworkers. You can see when something is changing because we share every day together. Even if we are just connected through the computer, we still talk to each other in some way. Our belief systems about ourselves, we become more, we develop apathy. We're hopeless. Our self-esteem start going down and we detach. We have a tendency just to blame others, and we just begin to develop negative perceptions, not only on other people, but in ourselves too. That dissatisfaction. We think a lot about that. Oh, well, we're not good enough to do this work. I don't know why I started doing this thing. I just don't have an idea why I should have never just signed up in school to do this. And now I have this financial debt that oh my God, I have to just pay for it. And you just keep this internal talk. And you start worrying and you continue. On your job performance, it starts to decrease completely. And you become perfectionistic, but you still cannot do the job. And it gets to the point that you start avoiding the things that you have to do altogether because you just don't have any more energy to get that done. That's compassion fatigue. And in this whole process, we can see that compassion fatigue is one thing, and then burnout is another. So there are two different things. Although a lot of what describes burnout and compassion fatigue kind of overlap, but they are still different because the burnout is something that happens over time. And the very first person that kind of brought that to the light, that information, was this individual, Herbert Freudenberger. In 1974, he wrote this book about burnout and the high cost of high achievement and it was more focused on the job, the different industries than the one that we're in. But you can see the overlapping on a lot of these symptoms. If you take a look at what we were discussing just prior, symptoms on compassion fatigue can also be very, very similar to depression, anxiety, PTSD, and so on. So, and that's one of the things why it is so important to do the practice of self-care, because we don't want to actually just get to a point that we are so overwhelmed that we start having depression, anxiety, that we stop sleeping at night. I didn't mention sleeping, but that's a big one. People stop sleeping. So the same with burnout. Burnout was defined as the extinction of motivation or incentive, especially where one's devotion to a cause or relationship fails to produce the desired results. And I found that definition very interesting because one of the things that every caregiver struggles with, it doesn't matter what we do, even if we're doing mental health or we're doing substance abuse, we're doing family therapy, we're doing peer counseling, it does not matter. Is this inner frustration when our clients don't get better. It's just this like, oh my God, we were doing so good and now the person went back and is drinking again. Or we were doing so good and the person was just really on it with their goals and completing all A, B, C, D. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. So it is that And this burnout, definitely, the burnout definition, it kind of mimics that experience that in this area of work, we can experience a lot. And when that starts happening over time, a lot, then we start getting exhausted. We start just identifying less and less and less with what we do because we just lose that motivation. We feel that what is the point? And we start having feelings of self-questioning. We start questioning ourselves again. Why are we doing this work? Also, when individuals have personality traits that are very related to perfectionism or pessimism, they become very vulnerable to the burnout because our thinking patterns also help us believe that either, well, if it's not perfect, I cannot do it. If I cannot get this family just to completely turn around, then I didn't do my job right. Or you see, because I am this kind of person, I can never do anything right. So, and all of these things start increasing our stressors. Stressors from every area of our life, other areas. We have family stressors. We have stressors with other friends. We have stressors because of healthcare issues. Stressors in general can add up to the burnout experience as well. So those are things that we need to just always keep in mind because even though we don't want to take work to home, neither home to work, it sometimes overlaps. And we start overlapping, we get exhausted, and then burnout can take place. So on top of it all, then you start hating your job. You feel inadequate, you don't have any satisfaction, and then overall, our mental health well-being just go down. It affects our health, our physical, our emotional, everything as a whole. So what are burnout symptoms that you can see? One of them is like alienation from work-related activities. You just start getting very frustrated about the work and it's becoming more stressful. You just become more cynical about the the work conditions, your coworkers, your clients, anything, and you emotionally distance yourself. You become numb. It gets to a point that you have to work with clients that probably are going through a very difficult time, and you're just like, I don't know what this person is just crying so much. Oh my God, I don't do this. So it gets to that point, you become colder and distant from the work that you do. And then on top of that, you start developing physiological symptoms. You start getting a lot of headaches. You stop sleeping because it just doesn't feel right. And a lot of intestinal problems are very, very common when we are feeling like that. We emotionally get exhausted, drained. And if we reach that point in which we cannot cope any longer with the job, and we're done. We're done. And sometimes when you find yourself in a situation where you cannot say, oh, well, then I just go ahead and find another job, then you have an even bigger problem because you have to stay there. So your performance begins to just go down the tubes. You cannot concentrate anymore. You become a liability because the work that we do is very delicate. What if you say the wrong thing? What if you are not present where you need to be present? Why if you ignore some signs of suicide on a client because you're just burnt out and you don't hear it? and that person goes hurt themselves. So it becomes also a liability, and that's why burnout and compassion fatigue, all of these things are huge. They're a lot bigger than they might sound because we are at risk of making some decisions or not making decisions when they need to be done. We start arriving late, getting sick. All of a sudden, we're sick every morning, like little kids when they don't want to go to school. Well, we are sick every morning. So it's just, it becomes a really serious issue. So causes. What causes burnout? Among all the things, right, that we have talked about so far. I kind of divide it into things. For once, the work itself, like unreasonable time pressures, having enough time to complete your work. And I was just really smiling when I was just doing my research, because do we have enough time to just complete the work? It is. Sometimes the work that we do is that we have to make do. We have to make sure we do this and we do that, and all at the same time, right? So lack of communication or support from their manager. Sometimes you have managers who are very involved, and you have managers who are not that involved. And sometimes the manager is very important, because as a manager, you become this buffer of stress. You become this in between, protecting your staff from getting overstressed by different situations within the organization. So if you are not there, then that stress is completely burning your staff down. Lack of role and clarity. If you don't know what are you supposed to be doing, that can cause burnout, because you feel confused, your stress increases, you don't know what you need to be doing, and that's also an issue. Unmanageable workload. Who heard of that in the type of work that we do? So, but that is also one of those things that can make people feel hopeless, that they are unable to accomplish the work. And also unfair treatment. If there is an organization that is being unfair to a therapist or a case manager, that will also cause an effect. Poor pay. And you all know that this is a job that we all got in here because of the money. And you all know that's why we're in this area of work. So poor pay causes issues, favoritism, mistreatment, all of those things can cause an increase in burnout. So what can you do with the things that you probably cannot change and those that you might be able to influence? You can always take a look and talk to management about work conditions, about types of positions. You can request some changes. You can develop plans. Sometimes even take time off if you can. Taking regular breaks, just take regular breaks during the day. Don't spend 4 hours, 5 hours without standing, because that's not healthy. Go for a walk around the block or around the building if you can. Use mental health days or leave for sick day if you need to. But it is better if you can just take a day off and actually relax, do something that makes you feel better, and then just work it through and get to a point where you cannot continue on. And also check in on each other. I believe that it is important to always just stop what you're doing and check on your coworker and say, hey, how you doing today? Just, you don't need to be asking because you need anything or no reason at all. just check on the people sitting next to you, because that's important. And and sometimes we need to talk to somebody. Call a mental health professional, schedule an appointment, go to therapy. It's actually a good experience to go to therapy. So just keep it in mind. Sometimes that way you have a place, a safe place for you to talk about things and to talk about how you're feeling and to brainstorm solutions to these issues. So what other recommendations there are for burnout or compassion fatigue? You need to integrate multiple strategies into your life. For example, exercise. A couple of you are very involved in working out, and that's fabulous. That's really, really, really good for your mood. Mindful movement like yoga or Tai Chi are very useful. Mindfulness. Different types of mindfulness work, like mindfulness-based stress reduction from Jacques Kabat-Zinn is one example. Practice visualization, progressive muscle relaxation, meditation. And at the very end of this, we're just gonna do a short little meditation breathing exercise for you guys to start breathing today. Look at nutrition. Look at your nutrition. What are you eating? Did you know that what you eat affects your mood, affects your mental health? It makes a huge difference. So keep that in mind. There are certain nutritious meals that can actually make you feel happy, more clear, and that actually just makes a big difference in the long run when you change your diet. So find other ways to cope with the stress. Find a hobby. Do gardening, crochet, go for walks in nature. There is so many different things that you can incorporate into your daily living that you can do that is just simply fun, just simply different, that can disconnect you from what you do every single day and give you that mini vacation moment so you can relax, because it is very important. Explore balancing also your work and family life. Those two things are very important. Just go out with your family, have quality time with your family, with your loved ones, with friends. Just never forget that. Pay attention to your sleep hygiene. If you start noticing that you're not sleeping well, figure it out. Why are you not sleeping well? Are you going to bed too late? Are you just getting up too early? Are you spending days that you're not sleeping at all? That is an important thing to just pay attention to, and then establish a routine, a sleep hygiene routine. Cultivate friendships. Have you ever had this friend that it's been a year and a half and you have not said hello to? Don't wait for that friend to call you. Sometimes it won't happen. Just reach out. Reach out to just friends. Friendships are things that is like a garden. If you don't water that garden, if you don't put fresh soil in that garden, it just dies. So make sure that you reach out to those people that you care for. Don't let those friendships just go away. Journaling is also good. And journaling doesn't mean that you need to sit down and write 5 pages of what happens detail by detail of your day. You can just write the date and write 3 things that were really good about that day. Just look at very simple things. You don't make it complicated. It's not necessary. And gratitude journals are also very useful. Just when you get up, just write a few things. Sometimes it can be 10 or 20 things, but sometimes, hey, 5 things good enough that you are grateful for. That kind of resets your state of mind into a positive, so you can start your day thinking positively from the very, very beginning. So drawing or painting. At least for me, it does wonders. Remember, you don't have to go to art school to paint and draw, because I've never been to art school. You just do it because really it is not about the outcome. It's not about how it's going to look. You forget about how it's going to look. If it looks fine or not, or if the lines are straight or not, who cares? That's not the idea. The idea is the process. It's what your brain does during the process of drawing and painting. Give it a try and you're gonna see that it is actually amazing. So, but that will be like for another class on how our brain functions when we do activities such as crochet or drawing or painting or things like that. But okay, so let's go ahead and do, before we finish, a very short breathing technique that you can do while you are working. Please don't do it while you're driving because you have to close your eyes. And but you can do it in the morning before you go to work, at the evening when you come home and you had a very long day. And that's something you can integrate into your self-care routine. Okay, so I would encourage all of you just to sit quietly, to relax, and to close your eyes. Just go ahead and close your eyes. And I would like you to place the tip of your tongue against the ridge of the roof of your mouth, just behind the top front teeth. That will help and encourage your jaw to relax. Your tongue should remain there through the whole exercise. Okay, but don't get distracted by that tongue. Okay, so I want all of you to exhale through your mouth, making a whooshing sound. Just let the air out, just like that. Now close your mouth and inhale very quietly through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold your breath for a count of 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now go ahead and exhale completely through your mouth, just making that whooshing sound to a count of 8, just very slowly. Just 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to repeat this exercise 3 more times now that you know how to do it. Just go ahead and take a deep breath. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, just take a deep breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold your breath. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale very slowly. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take one deep breath and exhale. Okay, and open your eyes. This is a very, very, very short exercise that you can do. And the only key for this particular exercise is that exhales are longer than the inhale. So the numbers can change. You can inhale for 5 and you can exhale for 7. So you just inhale, hold your breath, and exhale. And that exhale is longer than your inhale. And that's a very relaxing, short breathing exercise that will help you actually activate the part of your nervous system that actually help you relax. The parasympathetic nervous system will just kick in and help you relax. So do this in the morning, do this in the evening, do this in the middle of the day, or do this when you're just having a difficult time. Okay? So, well, thank you so much for allowing me to share this information with you all. And let me know if you have any questions. Let me just stop sharing. Stop. There we go. All right, so do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a question, Daisy.
Yes.
So appreciate it, first of all. And yeah, it is very relaxing, you know, to be able to. After the fact, I was like, okay, let me go ahead. You know, I want to just chill and relax and go to sleep real quick. But you know, but it is a sense of, you know, like a new form of energy. So I do appreciate that because I got a few more things that I got to go and tack today. So, but my question is there a way that people could be certified through knowing this information or being able to transfer the information, like the whole presentation that you gave us? Is there a certification to self-healing coaches or self-healing instructor or something like that? Do you guys have anything like that?
Well, we don't. This is information that you can share without having to have any type of specialization. It is very common. It's easy. I can even share this presentation with you guys, and you can share that with your staff. There are also trainings, like there are compassion fatigue trainings, and there are other areas that you can also take those paid trainings. But in reality, to share the information as a whole, you don't need to have any clinical background or certification just to talk about what these things do to you, because they are definitely open for the public to learn about them.
And the reason, not the second part of the question, the reason why I'm asking is because as I work with my youth, you know, my youth are between the ages of 13 and 24, but the ones that are 18 to 24 years old, there's, you know, certification in youth mentoring and certifications in conflict resolutions. And so I'm just looking for different elements that they can be certified in, to where if they're in a space like this, then they're able to conduct this type of process to help peers in their own cohorts or their own personal lives to be able to implement this strategic benefit that comes from it. That's the reason why I was really asking.
Okay, so do you want, well, this is one thing that we can talk with Yvonne, and we can brainstorm. We can brainstorm because we can do something very tailored for your group. So they can learn these strategies and they can practice them with their teammates and friends and at home and so on. It's definitely doable.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I shared in the class or in the chat that one thing that I took was the mental health first aid training. That is a good one. I think that would be beneficial.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you, Audrina. And I thought this was we always consult cases, but I thought it was good for us to do this today because we need to be able to recognize when we're feeling what's going on with the people that we're trying to help. And if we're going through it as well, we don't help them as well as we can. And a lot of us are in this field because we have our own, we've been through it ourselves as children or as adults. So to continue to work with the trauma of others, and we have to also be on the alert of when our trauma is being revisited, or we are being affected by what's going on with the work that we do in the community and with others. So this is just really important for us to do this and just know and be able to, revisit, hey, yeah, this is what I'm not going crazy. Maybe I'm not, bipolar, or I'm not having depression or anxiety. Maybe it's because I'm burnt out right now, or because I've been going through a lot with my clients that I'm working with in the community. So yeah, thank you so much, Daisy. This was great work, great information you shared.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Does anyone else have any more questions? I will share this. I recorded it because there was people that missed the meeting today that really wanted to be part of this presentation. So I did record it, so I will share it. If anybody would like the slides, the presentation Daisy put together, so they can share it with their teams also. And we do outreach. So like Daisy said, we do community outreach. So threat, if you have a group of your younger kids that you're working with and adults, we can for sure do this again with them and help, teach them so that they can teach the exact same thing to their teams and their populations and crowds that they work with as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.